Hello and welcome to the Tomcast. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com. I want to start out today's episode with the latest in our series, Convention Swag. This week, I pulled out kind of a big one. This is actually a full-size graphic novel trade of Zero's Heroes. I think I picked this book up about 3 years ago when I first went to Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City. And I was really into the cover art. It really grabbed my attention. And also the guy manning the booth sort of looked like me at the time. And so I figured, hey, another guy making comics who looks like me. I mean, gotta support your doppelgangers, you know? Except he was way taller than me. His name is Aaron Walther. He is a comic writer and has been writing comics for a long time and has done many different series. But I think the only book I actually picked up from him at the time was Zero's Heroes. Another thing that kind of attracted me to this book, aside from the cover art itself, was the fact that Aaron told me that it was a webcomic. And being a webcomic guy, I'm always happy to find other people who do webcomics. I don't really remember what we talked about when I purchased this book, but I feel like I was still pretty shy, and also I'm pretty sure if it was the first Planet Comic-Con, I was like super sick that whole weekend. So it was all I could do to keep myself awake, and I'm surprised that I actually went around and bought stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the book. Zero's Heroes is a comic about a group of superheroes led by a powerful psychic man who goes by the name Zero. They live in a city called New Haven, which is populated by many successful superheroes, especially one incredibly successful superhero team that actually takes on most of the major supervillains. And so Zero's Heroes are kind of trying to get their start, and it seems like it's a bunch of kids or people who used to be good superheroes and now have, through one way or another, become downtrodden, a bit down on their luck. Classic group of misfits meets superhero team. They're like the underdogs. So one of the first issues starts with them just fighting some weird villain in a squid costume, and, they're like, man, why don't we ever get villains who are cool? So there's a lot of humor in it, which I really appreciate. And there's a lot of poking fun at superhero tropes in the comic, which I really, really enjoyed. Each chapter sort of focuses on, in this first book, each chapter kind of focuses on a different member of Zero's Heroes as the focus. So there's an overarching story. They do kind of progress chronologically, so things that happened in the previous issue usually do impact later issues, which I like. It's just sort of each character sort of takes turns getting a spotlight, which was kind of cool, and it's a neat way to introduce you to this team. And especially when you're reading it in this format where it's that there's more to be read, it was just kind of cool to be I wonder who's going to be the focus of the next chapter. Aside from maybe the first chapter, it's not really laid out as origin stories, and the first one isn't really even about origin stories, but it's not even let me introduce myself. It's more, here's what's happening, but we're dealing with just a few of these characters, and we're going to end up focusing mostly on this one. It's written in a very fluid way, and it's not like it beats you over the head with here's the character, here is what motivates this person, here are the traits of this character. It seemed pretty seamless, and I really enjoyed reading it. The art is also very cool. There's a couple different artists who worked on this comic, and Aaron is a writer and actually hires out a lot of work for pencils, inks, and colors. So there is a big team of people who worked to put this book together. The vast majority of the art has a very anime style to it, which I really enjoy, since I really enjoy anime. I'm trying to think of what it most reminds me of. The design of the main character Zero here definitely reminds me pretty heavily of like a Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop or something like that. I really did enjoy the art, and it does change near the end of the book. I think the last chapter is done by a different penciler, and then there's a bunch of short little mini comics at the end of the printed volume that are all done by different art teams, and really, really cool. They might all be colored by the same person. I think they may have all been colored by the same person. At any rate, it's a great book. I really enjoyed reading it, and as someone who doesn't normally like superhero comics, there was a lot about this one that I really liked. It smacked a lot of like Invincible to me, where it's young superheroes kind of learning to control their powers and find their way and fit into a world that already has superheroes in it. And try to be unique and try to be like, live up to the idea of what they think a superhero is. So it's about a lot of different things. I am interested to keep reading the series and read more of it because this guy does a lot of the Midwest convention circuits. I have seen him at other shows. Next time I see him at a show, I'm going to have to say hey and tell him I finally read his book that I bought a long time ago. If you guys want to read Zero's Heroes or any of the other myriad of comics that Aaron Walther puts together, you can actually go to newhavencomics.com where you can read most of his comics online for free, and you can also purchase the print volumes. And of course, if you're watching this, you're likely in the Midwest US, and chances are you could run into this guy at a show. So, say hello, say you heard about it, ask him for more. Now, as far as I know, Zero's Heroes is a series that is no longer being updated. I don't know if it came to an end or if it was just they actually just decided to stop the series. I know there's at least one spin-off series that's also on the site. I haven't read it all. I've only read the first, I think the first 8 chapters are in this book, and there were several more on the website, so I'm probably going to go ahead and get my reading on and just read the rest online as a webcomic. But yeah, like I say, you can check all that stuff out, and yeah, let me know what you think of it. Let him know what you think of it, more importantly, really. But yeah. All right, before I let you go, got a couple things going on. First of all, I just wanted to do a quick update on the buffer project of trying to get a week ahead. I have not gotten a week ahead yet, but I have been doing really good at keeping a day ahead for the past several weeks, so that's been good. This weekend, this coming Saturday, my second convention of the year will be RodCon at the Rod Library in Cedar Falls, Iowa. So it's a free show. It's at the library, which is great. They're going to feed me breakfast, which is great. I'm going to be traveling with my buddy Trey Baldwin. Yeah, looking forward to that. Should be a really good show. That's it. Okay, I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll catch you later.